Welcome back, I'm Felix, and I react to the cartoon Graveyard, what flopped in the 1990s. I always like watching these. Some of these cartoons I've seen, some I've never heard of. So I wanted to see if there was any that I recognized. So let's watch some cartoons. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
1990, the neon-soaked twilight between the 80s and the grungy 90s proper. Saturday morning cartoons were still a sacred ritual, and TV networks were throwing absolutely everything on the air to see what stuck. Some shows became classics.
It kind of looks familiar, but not that familiar.
There were these. This is a look back at 10 forgotten, short-lived, or just plain weird cartoons.
Attack of the Killer Tomato. I remember liking that one, actually.
From 1990. The shows that tried, fizzled out fast, and left behind nothing but a few dusty VHS tapes and vague memories. Let's dive into the cartoon graveyard of 1990. Number 10, Gravedale High.
Please take a seat, yeah, we're dying to meet ya. Go with the spirit and chillin' and cheering.
You can't tell by my face. I don't recognize that one at all.
In theory, Gravedale High should have worked. A cartoon about a high school for teenage monsters, with one of the most badass school buses of all time, and Rick Moranis voicing the one human teacher. That's an easy win, right? Well, unfortunately, Gravedale High only lasted 13 episodes before NBC buried it. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, the show leaned heavily into monster puns and high school cliches.
What is this burn victim doing wandering the halls? Look at these bandages. Oh, I'll bet they haven't been changed in years.
2,000 years!
While the animation was decent and the character designs memorable, it never really found its voice.
I bet you've never seen an invisible Michael Jackson juggle. I love you. I love you all.
We love you too!
Do not recall this at all. I don't remember this one at all. It really got buried.
Oh my gosh, you're beautiful.
Today you can look at it like a Hotel Transylvania in high school. The characters felt like knockoffs of better cartoons, and Moranis, while great, sounded like he was phoning it in from his closet.
And if you can't handle that, Mr. Stoker, there's the window.
Critics weren't impressed, kids were mostly confused, and even in syndication, it didn't make much noise. Today it has a small cult following, mostly from people who caught it once and spent years wondering if it was real, or just something they dreamt up after too much Count Chocula. Number 9, Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates.
Now, there was a couple Peter Pan cartoons, so I wonder which one, see if this is one of the ones I remember.
If you were watching Fox...
What's weird is, I remember this, but that Peter Pan, I don't remember. So that's interesting.
Kids in 1990, there's a decent chance you stumbled onto this one, and then probably forgot it existed. Peter Pan and the Pirates was a more serious take on the classic tale, trying to turn Neverland into a weekly action-adventure series.
The wretched creatures are herded deeper into our caves, where I've prepared a crystal for Pan, just like this one.
It ran for 65 episodes, which sounds like a success, until you realize Fox burned through those episodes in less than a year. The animation was decent, the tone was weirdly dark for a kid's show, and Peter himself was voiced by a then unknown Jason Marsden from Step by Step, though you'd never know it, since they pitched up his voice to chipmunk levels.
Oh, don't make such a fuss, John. There's no danger in Neverland I can't handle.
The real highlight, of course, was Tim Curry as Captain Hook. He delivered Shakespearean-level menace in a show meant to sell action figures.
Gall and brimstone, Smee. Do you hear what I hear? Oh, I do, Captain.
But it couldn't compete with shows like DuckTales or Tiny Toons, and despite the episode count, it vanished just as quickly as it arrived.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to recall it, and I don't recall it. Like, I remember the logo, but I don't remember anything else.
Days it's mostly remembered as that Peter Pan cartoon that wasn't Disney's. Number 8, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Like I said earlier, this one I do remember, and I remember liking it. And I think this was also Fox. Oh, are these all going to be Fox? I think these have all been Fox so far.
Yeah, this was a real thing. In 1990, someone at Fox decided to take a low-budget, cult horror spoof about tomatoes murdering people and turn it into a cartoon for children. Based on the 1978 film and its 1988 sequel, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes somehow lasted 2 seasons, but only 21 episodes aired before the show got canned. The series toned down the humor and leaned hard into slapstick. You had talking tomatoes, a mad scientist villain.
I'm not mad, just angry.
And a tomato-hating teenage hero named Chad. It was weird, it was loud, and it actually had decent animation for the time.
Yeah, one of the things I remember about this is that they had to make pizza without tomatoes. So no tomato sauce on the pizza. So yeah, business for pizza was hurting.
Oh? What? We don't serve to turtles. No sewer deliveries. What?
But it was also incredibly niche. Kids who hadn't seen the R-rated movie were mostly confused. And adults weren't exactly tuning in for cartoon tomatoes with bad puns.
Early morning clouds turn to sunshine, perfect growing weather for ripe succulents.
Ironically, the show did its job too well. It made the Killer Tomatoes brand more family-friendly, which killed off the edgy cult appeal of the original. By 1992, the franchise was back underground, where it probably belonged.
You ungrateful little witch! I made you, and I can break you! And your little dog, too!
That's right, that girl they just showed, she was actually a tomato. I don't remember exactly, but I think he made her to like be a spy, and it, back like Smurfette, and it backfired. So,
Number 7, Pittsburgh Pigs. Some cartoons have staying power. Pittsburgh Pigs is not one of them. This short-lived series followed a trio of pig brothers, Bo, Portly, and Pighead, who defended their city from the evil Wolf brothers, Huff and Puff.
Fire up the electromagnetic pocket!
nope, don't remember this. And I don't live that far from Pittsburgh, so yeah.
Okie doke!
Yeah, really, that was the whole premise. It was produced by Ruby Spears and aired as part of Fox Kids' fall lineup, but barely made a ripple. Only 13 episodes were produced, and it was gone faster than you could say bacon. The animation was stiff, the jokes were flat. While it tried to mix Looney Tunes-style slapstick with 90s gross-out humor, it didn't really land either. It felt like someone had pulled random pieces from better cartoons and glued them together with pig puns.
Hey, aren't you supposed to take your clothes off before you use that thing?
Strangely, though, it did get a VHS release in the UK, where it had more staying power.
The UK? That's funny to me. I don't know why it took off in the UK.
In the US. But here, most kids forgot it even aired. There's not much nostalgia around Pittsburgh Pigs, mostly just a weird, oh yeah, that existed moment for anyone who caught it during Saturday morning cartoons. Number 6, Heroes on Hot Wheels.
There were a couple racing shows based around Hot Wheels, so let's see if this ones I remember, like the Peter Pan. It's probably not one I remember.
If you don't remember Heroes on Hot Wheels, you're not alone. This one practically disappeared on arrival. This short-lived series was basically a glorified toy commercial for Mattel's Hot Wheels line. But instead of leaning into crazy car stunts or racing action, it followed a group of teen do-gooders in a generic sci-fi setting, stopping vague crimes and teaching safety tips, all while driving neon-colored Hot Wheel cars.
A tanker truck.
But tanker trucks aren't allowed in the park.
Neither's what that truck's got in it, if my guess about that smell is right.
That's probably because the cartoon was first created as Michael Valiant, completely unrelated to Hot Wheels and Mattel, but they decided to put their name on it to sell cars. The show only lasted 13 episodes, and even that feels generous. The animation looked cheap, the dialogue was painfully bland, and the pacing felt like it was running in first gear the entire time.
Kind of reminds me of old anime style. But yeah, I don't remember this one at all. But the Michael Valiant thing sounds familiar, which is weird.
This park is incredible, Hannah. The telescope really lets you bring it up close.
Worse, it somehow managed to make Hot Wheels, one of the most exciting toy brands ever, feel boring. It aired in limited syndication, so even kids who wanted to watch it probably couldn't find it. The biggest legacy of Heroes on Hot Wheels. It helped remind cartoon producers that if you're going to slap a name on a show based around toys, maybe make it cool. Number 5, Midnight Patrol, Adventures in the Dream Zone.
Wait, that little boy running looked familiar.
With a title like Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone, you'd expect something kinda cool, right? Maybe trippy, mysterious, and a little
I take it back. None of that looks familiar. Just maybe that little boy was from another cartoon. I reckon he stumbling. Similar. He was similar to another cartoon character. But yeah, so far, Killer Tomato is the only one I recognized. I don't recall any of the others.
Instead, what you got was a muddled, confusing, and oddly British-feeling mess.
I've been waiting all evening to complain about my dinner.
The show followed 4 kids who every night entered a surreal dream world, where they fought bad guys like the Pillow King and Sergeant Snort. It was part superhero fantasy, part PSA, and part fever dream. Midnight Patrol was actually a U.S. rework of a British series called Potsworth & Company. Despite that, it still felt like it didn't quite know what it wanted to be. Too weird for the Saturday morning crowd, but not nearly smart or coherent enough for the older kids.
Oh, great! The Dream Zone is ruined, Earth is doomed, and it's all our fault!
It lasted 13 episodes in the U.S. with little fanfare and even less merchandising. It aired on the Family Channel and in syndication, meaning many kids missed it entirely.
Oh, the Family Channel. That's probably why it doesn't seem familiar. I forgot all about the Family Channel. I think it's called Freeform now. Was that the Family Channel? That, if I'm correct, that's the one that went through like multiple names.
It's one of those cartoons that feels like a dream you sort of remember. Weird, foggy, and a little unsettling. Number 4, Zazu U.
Yeah, you matter.
Me too!
You matter.
You know, this reminds me of a book. That's what it is. I can't think of the name of the book, but the way the characters are drawn. And it kind of reminds me of like, has a 70s feel to it. I wonder if that's what they were going to. There was some 70s cartoons they drew like this. But do not recall this one either.
Even by early 90s standards, Zazu U was weird. Yeah. The short-lived Fox cartoon tried to blend education with absurdist humor.
Do we knock?
Nah, let's bravely go where no student has gone before.
Set in a surreal college populated by anthropomorphic animals, aliens, and offbeat faculty. Think Tiny Toons if it were written by someone on a sugar crash and airing way too early in the morning.
Janitor? Yes, you know, those quaint downgrade men with their names over the pocket? Ask them to clean up this mess immediately.
The show centered on a student named Grizzle, along with a cast of oddball classmates and teachers. They tackled topics like math, science, and geography, but through bizarre, nonsensical skits and songs that felt more like filler than actual learning.
I'm preparing special dish old country food. Is beloved Papa's favorite.
Are there supposed to be eyes around his neck? Man, this does feel like a fever dream, like someone was just high when they came up with it.
Shecky on a shingle.
Only 10 episodes were produced, and it quietly vanished after airing just a few times in 1990. Critics didn't get it, kids didn't stick around, and Fox had plenty of better options in the pipeline. Zazu U is one of those what were they thinking shows. It clearly wanted to be zany and educational, but ended up being too chaotic for classrooms and too dull for kids looking for action or laughs. Today, it mostly lives on in YouTube uploads and weird cartoon listicles, which honestly might be the perfect legacy for it. Number 3, Widget the World Watcher.
Now that purple thing looks familiar, but yeah, I don't recall this either.
Before Captain Planet made saving the Earth cool, there was Widget the World Watcher, a purple alien with a mullet who shape-shifted and taught kids about pollution, poaching, and how not to destroy the planet. The show was syndicated and ran for 2 seasons with 65 total episodes, which technically makes it the longest-running cartoon on the list. But despite its good intentions and occasional bursts of sci-fi fun, Widget never really quite became a household name.
well, you see, there were a few complications.
It followed Widget, his alien sidekick Megabrain, and a group of human kids as they traveled the globe fighting villains who wanted to cut down rainforests or dump toxic waste into the oceans. It's a classic 90s cartoon bad guy stuff.
Oh my gosh! Look! It's the whalers! Come on!
The show had a clear environmental message which was admirable, but it often felt preachy and
yeah, I don't recall this at all. I remember Captain Planet, but I don't recall this. I want to do a quick recap here. See, Peter Pan looked familiar, but yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is the only one I recall. I'm not going to peek ahead. There's two more, but so far, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is the only one.
And the animation was stiff even by early 90s standards. Still, it did manage to get a Daytime Emmy nomination for writing, which is more than most of these other flops can say. Ultimately, Widget tried to ride the wave of edutainment, but kids were far more interested in turtles with ninja skills than aliens with climate agendas. Number 2, The California Raisin Show.
I remember this. I remember the California Raisins. There was a claymation version and the cartoon version. But I thought this came on NBC for some reason. Maybe it was Fox.
Remember those stop-motion raisins from the 80s that sang Motown songs? Well, someone at CBS thought they could carry a full-blown animated series into 1990.
They even got a Christmas special. And I would say there was other specials too. But yeah, they were pretty popular back then.
While technically released at the tail end of 1989, the California Raisin Show was based on the popular advertising mascots, who exploded into pop culture after singing I Heard It Through the Grapevine in claymation commercials. There were toys, which I did have, and albums, and even a primetime special, so naturally a Saturday morning cartoon was the next step. Only problem, they ditched the iconic stop motion for old-fashioned animation.
What you talking about, Bebop?
Instantly removing the one thing that made the Raisins visually interesting. The show followed the band on various misadventures in a kind of surreal, fruit-flavored world.
I dig. All right, I am cool again.
Despite featuring solid music and voice talent, including Cree Summer and Brian Cummings, the show just didn't resonate with kids who had already moved on from the Raisins craze. CBS pulled the plug after just 13 episodes.
Okay.
The California Raisins quietly rolled back into obscurity, though you can still find some of the old merch at thrift stores and on eBay if you're feeling nostalgic. Number 1, Little Dracula.
So, if you're keeping count, I only recognize 2. I am curious how many you guys recognize, but I only recognize 2. I don't recall any of the others. Like I said, the Peter Pan thing looked familiar, the writing, but I don't remember the show at all. And that Michael Valiant, was he a real race car driver or something? Because that name seems familiar, and when I hear it, I do think of racing. So I'm not going to look him up, but I do recall something about that name. And Little Dracula. There was a couple of Dracula shows, so let's see if this rings a bell.
Okay, this one's a bit of a cheat. Little Dracula technically aired in 1991, but it was planned for 1990 and shelved for a bit, which is very on brand for a show about the undead. Little Dracula was based on a children's book series from the UK. It followed a kid vampire trying to balance life at home with his weird monster family and his desire to hang out in the human world. Think the Addams Family meets Dennis the Menace, but with more bats and less charm.
Every night when the sun goes down, I fly down to the village and suck the blood of innocent villagers.
Oh no! My papa's a lawyer!
No, nothing that evil. I'm simply a vampire.
Fox Kids only aired
Okay, that was funny to me. But yeah, this is not ringing a bell. It doesn't seem familiar at all.
Before pulling it off the schedule almost immediately. In total, 13 episodes were produced, but most didn't air in the U.S. until years later. Some even showed up on Fox's weekday afternoon block with zero promotion. It had a surprisingly high-quality cast with Jonathan Winters and Joe Flaherty. But even with that oddball pedigree, the tone was just too creepy for little kids, and too childish for older ones. Ultimately, little Dracula vanished as quickly as it appeared, kind of like mist under a door. One thing's for sure, 1990 was a weird, wonderful year for animation. If you remember any of these shows or you actually watched them, I want to hear about it in the comments. Hit like if this scratched your
I'll leave a link. You guys can go back and leave your comments and likes. But yeah, I don't recall majority of those. Just California Raisins and Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I saw the movie back then. I shouldn't have probably, but I remember the movie. Well, I actually vaguely remember the movie now. It's been so long since I've seen it. But yeah, there were so many I did not recognize. But yeah, go check out the video. Leave your comments on his video. But yeah, so many cartoons. It's weird to think that there was that many cartoons, and out of all these cartoons, I only recognize 2. I watched one of these once before, and I didn't recognize any of them. So it's like there were tons of cartoons in the 90s. From the 80s all up to the probably 2000s, there were cartoons, so many cartoons that I've never seen for whatever reason. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.